She is 107 years old. Her name is Maria. She lives in the Barbagia region of Sardinia, where the roads are narrow and the air smells like rosemary and sheep. Every morning she eats cheese. Not a protein shake, not a supplement. Cheese. Hard, aged, pungent cheese made from sheep's milk, the same way her grandmother made it. Her doctor is not concerned, because in Sardinia, this is just breakfast. For 50 years, we have been told that cheese is dangerous. That fat is dangerous. That if you are over 60, you should be watching every gram. And yet, the oldest documented women on Earth eat full fat sheep cheese every single day. They are not losing muscle. They are not frail. They are pulling weeds from their gardens at 100 years old. That is not luck. That is a mechanism. Today, we are looking at three specific traditional Sardinian cheeses. Each one contains something your aging muscle tissue needs and almost certainly is not getting. Stay with me through number 2, because what the science says about muscle loss after 60 is something most doctors have never explained to you. Before we get to the cheeses, you need to understand what you are actually fighting. After 60, your body loses muscle at roughly 1 to 2% per year. This is called sarcopenia. It is not just about strength, it is about balance, independence, and how long you stay out of a care facility. The mechanism is documented and it is specific. As you age, your muscle cells become resistant to the normal signals that tell them to rebuild. You can eat protein and your body may not use it the same way it did at 40. The trigger that overcomes this resistance is a specific amino acid called leucine. Think of leucine as the ignition key. Without enough of it in one sitting, the engine does not start. Your muscle cells simply do not respond. There is a second compound that matters. It is found almost exclusively in the fat of grass-fed animals. It is called conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA. CLA directly blocks the cellular pathway that breaks muscle down. It does not just help you build, it slows the destruction. Sardinian sheep graze on wild mountain herbs year-round. Their milk is dense with both leucine and CLA. The cheeses made from that milk have been the daily food of the longest-lived women in recorded history. That is not a coincidence. Now let's build this properly. Pecorino Sardo is an aged sheep's milk cheese. Hard, slightly sharp, and dense. In Sardinia, it is not a garnish, it is a staple, a small wedge with bread and olives, a few slices before a meal. Present at almost every table in the Barbagia Highlands, here is why it matters for muscle. A single 30-gram serving of aged Pecorino Sardo contains approximately 3 grams of leucine. Research identifies 3 grams as the minimum threshold needed to trigger muscle protein synthesis in older adults. Below that amount, the signal is too weak. Your muscle cells do not respond. 3 grams hits the switch. The fat content matters just as much. The CLA in Pecorino Sardo comes directly from how those sheep live. Grass and wild herbs produce milk that is structurally different from grain-fed dairy. The CLA concentration in Sardinian sheep milk is among the highest measured in any traditional dairy product in Europe. You can find Pecorino Sardo in most specialty grocery stores and Italian markets. Look for the aged version, not the fresh. Aging concentrates the protein and develops the fat profile you actually want. That is cheese one. Now here is where the pattern breaks. Most people outside Sardinia have never heard of fresa. It is a semi-soft fresh cheese, traditionally eaten young, sometimes within days of being made. It does not travel well. You will not find it at a supermarket chain. But in Sardinia, fresa is the cheese given to children and elderly people specifically, because it is gentle on digestion and high in bioavailable protein. Bioavailability means how much of what you eat your body can actually absorb and use. For older adults, this matters enormously. Digestive efficiency drops with age. You can eat the right food and still not get the benefit if absorption is poor. The protein in fresh sheep cheese like fresa is rapidly absorbed. It raises amino acids in the blood quickly. That fast delivery pattern is exactly what aging muscle responds to best. Research has shown that fast-absorbing protein sources produce stronger muscle protein synthesis responses in adults over 60 compared to slower-releasing forms. You are not going to find fresa at a chain grocery store, but fresh sheep's milk cheese is available at farmers markets, specialty Italian importers, and small-batch cheesemakers. The principle transfers even if the exact cheese does not. Fresh, minimally processed, from sheep or goat milk. That is what you are looking for. Wait for number 3. This is the one most people miss entirely. Casu Axidou is a fermented soft cheese. Tangy, almost yogurt-like in texture, and it has been made in Sardinia for thousands of years. It comes from raw or lightly pasteurized goat or sheep milk, cultured with natural strains passed down through generations. Here's what makes it different from the first two. The fermentation process produces short-chain fatty acids. These compounds feed the gut lining directly and reduce systemic inflammation throughout the body. And here is why that matters for muscle after 60. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the primary drivers of sarcopenia. It is not only protein deficiency breaking you down, it is your immune system quietly working against your muscle tissue over years and years. Kasuaxidu addresses both sides of that equation at once. That changes everything. Maria is not following a muscle building program. She is not tracking macros. She is not ordering supplements from a website. She is eating the food her region has made for 3,000 years, small portions, daily, as part of a meal, not as a strategy. That is the gap between their approach and ours. We optimize in bursts. They maintain through habit. Pick one of these three cheeses. Add it to one meal today. Not instead of your doctor's advice. Alongside it. Pecorino Sardo if you want the easiest starting point. Fresh sheep's milk cheese if absorption is your concern. Raw goat milk kefir if you want the fermentation benefit closest to Kasuaxidu. The mechanism is real. The food is available. Drop a comment and tell me which one you're starting with. And subscribe to the Blue Zone Way. Every week we go deep on one zone, one practice, at one system.